What a beautiful afternoon in downtown Reno as we welcome you to Greater Nevada Field, and it is the 2020 United Soccer League preseason opener, a friendly between Reno 1868 FC and the San Diego Loyal. Alongside Julian Delgadio, I'm Alex Margulies. Boy, oh boy, year 4 of soccer here at Greater Nevada Field. Julian, what an incredible ride it has been. 3 consecutive playoff berths for this team. Really unprecedented success when you're talking about an expansion club and the consistency in 3 years. And now a very new kind of look team this year. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see this now first look at Ian Russell's 4th year with the program.
And you got to credit all that success to head coach Ian Russell. I mean, the job that he has done here over the last 3 years, beyond impressive. He set a club record last year in wins with 18, points with 60. They finished second overall in the USL Western Conference. And, I mean, they did have a lot of turnover. Only 8 guys are returning back for this team. They will have a completely different look, but I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. You know, you think about back 3 years ago when he was just assembling this team, this was a group of nobodies. And you look at the pedigree of that team now, where they've gone on in the MLS, in different parts of the USL. A lot of excitement. He's a great development player.
You can see the guys taking the field here. Reno in the home blues, of course, and today coming out in a 4-3-3. Corey Herzog, who set a franchise record with 19 goals. He is back this year leading Reno's front line, joined by Aiden Apodaca and Siad Haji, who is here from the San Jose Earthquakes. Newcomer Christian Francois in the midfield, along with the captain for today, Kevin Partita, the Sparks native, back for his 3rd season with Reno 1868. And joining them in the midfield is the youngster, the 18-year-old Gilbert Fuentes, who we have seen over the last couple of years here in Reno, also coming down from the Quakes. The back four, a couple of new names. Tony Alfaro, a 26-year-old from Mexico, is at center back, joining one of the mainstays in Reno, Thomas Janjigian, who has been here for all 4 seasons. And on the outside, 2 newcomers, Ayrton Stadi, a 25-year-old from Bonaire in the Caribbean, and Jonas Budati, a 24-year-old from Belgium, also playing at outside back, and he's playing today for Brent Richards. A little bit banged up. Richards, the guy that has really been here from the beginning, all-time leading player when it comes to appearances. He should be back and ready to go by the USL opener, but getting some rest here today. And then in goal, it's Matt Bersano, who we have seen a ton during his career in Reno. 55 appearances in goal for Reno 1868. So a lot of strength when it comes to goalkeepers again this year for Ian Russell, when you're talking about Bersano and as well with JT Marcinkowski. So the boys break the huddle, and on the other side of the pitch, it's going to be the San Diego Loyal, a newcomer to the USL, a brand new franchise led by none other than U.S. soccer legend Landon Donovan. And it's going to be pretty cool to see Landon Donovan kind of put his mark on a soccer team as the USL continues its growth here, and just an amazing part of the American game.
I mean, he is one of the all-time greatest to suit up for the U.S. men's national team, was a staple in the MLS for a lot of years, played for the LA Galaxy. He actually surrendered his captain armband when the Galaxy signed David Beckham. But this guy is great. I'm curious to see how he does as a head coach. He actually reached out to Ian Russell before the season even started on how to construct the lineup, what to do with salary caps, and just how to put together a very strong 11 out of nothing, which is what Ian did 3 years ago, and he did a great job at that.
The Loyal with a couple of Reno 1868 alums. They are not in the lineup today, but Raul Mendiola was signed by the Loyal, as was Emmer Clementa, who will start today on the bench. They go into the corner, and digging it out over there is Jack Metcalf going towards the side, and a good early opportunity there for San Diego.
I just love this. Can you believe it? Soccer is back. It feels like spring. Fans are out. It's exciting. It's warm out finally, and they're hitting the pitch. It's phenomenal. It's
amazing. You know, the off season is only a couple of months, and I don't think we can promise the weather will be this good for the entire spring. That's just kind of the nature of northern Nevada. There could be, snow the next time we see the pitch.
We're supposed to get snow tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, but for now, it's I think a lot of people are just enjoying the early kind of summer feel here in northern Nevada. Here's Matt Bersano, now 27 years old, the Chandler, Arizona native. Last year appeared in goal in 19 games for Reno, including their last 3 matches, including their playoff appearance against Sacramento.
Yeah, it's a game they want to get back, especially with how well they did in the regular season. I know just talking to these guys in the preseason so far, that game really haunts them. They want to do better in the playoffs. That's a big goal of theirs this year, but that is a ways away. I mean, they really need to buckle down the regular season and lock that up before they can even start thinking about playoffs. But I know it did leave a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah, no doubt. San Diego will keep possession in Reno's half of the fields. For the Loyal, they're out in a 1-3-5-2 formation. Their forwards is Qudis Lawal and Tuni Moshabani. In the midfield, it's Elijah Martin, Carlos Alvarez, Eric Avila, Jack Metcalf, and Charlie Adams. And on the back three, Sal Zizzo, Joseph Greenspan, as well as Grant Stoneman with Jake Fenwolfson in goal. Another opportunity there for San Diego as that one just goes wide, a little bit tall of the net.
The Loyal pretty attack heavy early on in this one. They kind of remind me of Ian's first team here in Reno, just pressing forward constantly on the attack, something that Ian Russell does really well, but I think that they're going to try to shy away from that this season as they go with more of a defensive mindset. Yeah,
I think it's going to be interesting to see, how things evolve, and I think only time will kind of tell for Reno how the kind of the roster changes that they've got. Will there be some differences? We'll kind of see here in the first month or so of the season what kind of brand of soccer we'll see this year in Reno. I think you'll continue to see an offensive-minded team. That's been Ian Russell's hallmark, but maybe tweaking some things with the roster and with the way they're doing things in San Jose to kind of match up with that. We'll, I think, see some slight tweaks this year, which will be interesting to watch here in year 4.
And that's what Ian kind of sells a lot of forwards on. Like, hey, come to Reno 1868. You're going to score a lot of goals. We're an offensive-minded team, and let's see what we could do with you. I mean, Corey Herzog, a perfect example of that. You look back before him, Dane Kelly, Brian Brown, some of the great forwards that have, not only set USL records, but just had phenomenal seasons here in this league and with this team. So it's interesting to see. I know Aiden Apodaca is playing forward today, but Foster Langsdorff, who's riding the bench, that was a big signing for this soccer club in the offseason, and I'm really excited to see how he gets going and how he meshes well with Corey, because Corey, early on last year, it was him and Brian Brown in a lot of ways, and then Brian ended up leaving, and Corey took the job, and I don't think anybody blinked an eye at that one.
He was great last year, 19 goals, 6 assists on the year, and back for his second season in Reno to lead that front line. Bersano knocks it down. Another chance here for San Diego, and Reno's able to get to clear. So early on, it's the Loyal here in the first 5 minutes. They have had 3 chances now in front of net, and Reno so far are able to hold them off. It is still 0-0.
I wonder what's going on the sidelines there. Landon and Ian maybe, facing off a little bit, if there's any chatter going on. I know that these two are really good friends, but it's fun to see both of them coach against one another.
I was talking to Ian yesterday just about Landon joining the league and being a coach. He really feels like he'll be a great head coach. He's somebody that is a great communicator. He said he's a very intense guy, very prepared, very organized. He's just a good leader of men, though, is kind of what he described Landon as. And, he knows how to manage people. And that's such an important thing when you talk about anything, but especially a team, is how do you connect with the players? How do you deal with adversity? And I think when you're a player and you can draw on those experiences, you kind of know how you want to be dealt with. And the one neat thing about Landon Donovan is you think about how many different teams he's played for and how many different managers that he's had a chance to be a part of, and he can kind of take all of those different experiences and then kind of blend it into his own and kind of figure out, what kind of manager is he going to be. And I think it's great for the American game. It's great for the USL to have that kind of star power, to have someone like Landon Donovan now being attached to the USL. I mean, to see the growth that we've just witnessed in 4 years of soccer here with this league since it came to Reno. It's been an amazing ride so far.
Yeah, even like you were saying, the big names that have come through here, the fact that you can get a Landon Donovan in the USL, Didier Drogba was here a couple of years back, the pedigree that he has in soccer internationally, and just like you said, even seeing the USL grow from where it's at the last year or so, from where it was at 3-4 years ago, even when 1868 was announced at the Whitney Peak Hotel, you didn't really know what to expect from the league. And
chance again for San Diego, and that time it goes in. A headed goal for Cutis Lawal. And the Loyals' early pressure, they kept on attacking, and this time, off of that set piece, they're able to find the back of the net. A perfectly executed goal as Lawal gives the Loyal a 1-0 advantage.
Yeah, they've been attacking this entire game. One of those was bound to fall in, and like I said, they really look like Reno early on. Attack heavy, like to pass the ball, don't like to, it's interesting to see how Reno will counter that. How do they play against themselves in a sense? But what a great goal. Nice header. First goal of the year. First goal of the franchise.
Yeah, we were talking earlier this week with Nate White, one of the assistants for San Diego, and he was not shy in saying this is going to be a team that's going to be attack heavy. And that's kind of how Reno was when they first came into the league. They set a league record that year, Reno did, with 75 goals, and made it very clear they were going to play an attacking style. And certainly we're seeing a team that has kind of come out and stolen the pace here in this first 8 minutes. This is kind of like what we usually see Reno do to teams, especially when they come here to Northern Nevada. Reno loves to jump out, play hard, control the tempo, very, very attack heavy. But right now, Reno has had very little success in doing much with the ball, and they've been constantly on their heels trying to defend what San Diego is coming at with them.
I'm curious how the second half of this is going to go, especially with the altitude playing a factor. This still is early in the year. A lot of these guys are just 4 weeks into being back playing soccer consistently, and it's going to be a real interesting. I know Reno likes to grind things out. It's still very early on, but San Diego's got to be happy with how they've shown up so far.
No doubt. Lawal, the goal scored in the 7th minute. We're now approaching minute number 9 here in this first half. 1-0 San Diego. And another set-piece opportunity here for the Loyal. Trying to find that right corner for Joe Greenspan. It was just out of his reach. Cutis Lawal, the goal for San Diego, came over after spending last year with Fresno. He scored 10 goals for Fresno FC over 18 appearances. A guy that also has MLS time with Seattle and Chicago, so he could be a big piece for Landon Donovan this year. See what Reno can do here. And broken up as Francois was trying to advance it into the center for Apodaca.
Francois, another big signing over the offseason, someone that I'm really interested in seeing how he plays this year. That midfield position has been pretty great for Ian Russell's club so far. You think of the early years, the Chris Wehan USL Rookie of the Year and what he did. Matt LaGrassa, another great name that's come through this club that has had a lot of success. It's going to be Francois' year.
Here's Siad Haji. Played out wide now for Stadi. Over to Gilbert Fuentes. Stadi volleys it into the box and cleared out by San Diego's Elijah Martin. Throw in now coming as Budati heads off to the sideline.
It's the best opportunity they've had all game. It's nice to see them actually playing on this half of the pitch for a little bit. I was a little worried there, but it takes time early on in the year.
Played all the way back to the center back, Janjigian. Here's Stadi again, a 25-year-old from Bonaire, right next to Curacao off the coast of Venezuela. First year playing in the United States is Stadi. Guy that's got some experience playing for the Curaçaoan national team. Has played in some of the lower levels in the Netherlands. Now taking his crack in the United Soccer League, and he's expected to play a big part for Reno at one of the outside back spots. Here's a right-footed shot from Francois, stays alive. Fuentes slips and falls. Reno able to keep possession. And San Diego now pushing for a counter. Stadi trying to close back on it. Stadi still with pressure and tangled up that time as the whistle blows at midfield.
I don't think Fuentes was expecting that ball to land so perfectly for him. If his leg was kicked back, he had a dead-to-right shot at goal right there. But missed opportunity, but they are pressing more, and I think that's something Ian wants to see early on in this team.
So a little tangle there between Fuentes and Chumi Moshabani. Here's Joe Greenspan now on the ball. Veteran player, a lot of time for Greenspan in the USL. Last year he was with Pittsburgh. Spent the last 2 seasons there. Also some MLS time with Minnesota and Colorado. Good ball movement there, trying to find Fuentes, able to keep it alive. Back to Gilbert. Tell you what, San Diego has done a good job when Reno's got it into this part of the field. Look how tightly organized they are.
You got to imagine, too, they have some butterflies in their stomach. First game, brand new franchise. Landon Donovan's their head coach. I mean, a lot of question marks, but they have definitely risen to the occasion. They have that 1-0 lead right now, and they're playing some pretty confident football.
You can tell they look comfortable playing with each other right now.
Yeah, especially early on in the year, and I mean, that says a lot, especially about a team that has never come together. And that was close.
Cleared out by Greenspan on the corner. So another chance for Reno as Cristiano Francois, another corner kick.
I'm curious, the set pieces last year were very key for Reno 1868, especially down the stretch. Finding success in that, I think, is going to be huge for them this year.
Fuentes over the head of the keeper, Fenelson. Now it's Haji. Knocked away by Fenelson. Another chance for Reno. Back to Haji. And that time, last touch by Reno. So a good attack comes up short, but Reno's starting to get a little more comfortability on the offensive side of things right now.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? And I think that they're finally settling in, and some good ball movement right there. Just couldn't find the back of the net.
th minute here in downtown Reno, preseason friendly. Reno 1868 and San Diego. 2 teams will see each other in the regular season later in the year here in Reno on September the 19th. Reno will play their first game in San Diego down at their stadium at the University of the San Diego, where the Toreros play in Southern California. That game on June the 27th. Man down here, and the trainer's coming out for the Loyal.
A lot of Reno versus San Diego today, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. How about later this afternoon, Nevada Wolfpack in action against San Diego State, the nationally ranked Aztecs, who have lost only 1 game and are on their way to possibly a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Should be a sellout crowd at Lawler Event Center, a 5 o'clock tip-off. So, yeah, a little
Senior
Reno versus
too.
San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, that could be quite the upset, too, if Nevada could pull that off. And, I mean, that was a great game down in San Diego a couple of weeks back. Nevada had the lead at halftime, but second half, San Diego State just turned on the gas and didn't look back. Hell of a team.
I love sports days like this, though. You get kind of an opportunity. I imagine a lot of these fans are going to go over to Lawler as well. You come out, get in the sunshine, look at the Battleborn Brigade. I mean, you think they're locked in, ready to go here, ready for another season of soccer?
Yeah, they were locked in, I think, last week, the week before the kit unveil. They were, there in full force, banging the drums. Really a great fan base here that has only gotten bigger as the years have gone on here in Reno.
What do you think of the new kits? I like them. I like the addition of kind of that yellow sleeve kind of thing that they've got going on. It gives it a nice little character edge,
yeah,
I think improved over last year.
We have talked about the kits through the years. I think this blue one actually might be my favorite. The one before this that really stood out to me, they had a white kit.
Yeah, that
with
white
snow-capped
the original white kit. Yeah,
Oof.
That was good.
That had some heat.
Uh-huh. No doubt. Another chance here for San Diego, already leading 1-0. Right-footed strike and wide of Matt Bersano. Opportunity that time, though, for Eric Avila, who put a pretty solid right-footed strike on that.
That was almost a beautiful goal from outside the box. You don't see those too often.
Here's Gilbert Fuentes. Burst onto the scene here in Reno. First appeared with the team at 15. Made 4 appearances in 2018. Last year, he came down from San Jose and played in 11 matches.
Yeah, the goalies that Reno have had the last 2 years, JT Marcinkowski as well. I mean, those are 2 guys that really buckle down in big moments, and they've had a lot of really big matches, not only here at Greater Nevada Field, but on the road for this soccer club. And Reno's won a lot of games because of them.
Here's Francois, 26 years old from Haiti. He played with Ottawa last year. Here's Haji. Trying to curl one towards the right side of the net and goes well wide. So Fennelson will let his guys get forward.
Wonder if Ian's going to throw in some of these trialists that he's been talking about. I know that there are some bubble players on this roster. There's 20 guys already that I think have solidified their position, but you think about certain trialists and guys who have grown in this program that have done well. Name that pops out to me, Sam Gleeble. You know, he was a kid who walked on in a sense. He just kind of grew. We saw his emergence last year, and I think he's going to have a big year this year.
Yeah, Gleeble, like Richards, banged up and not likely to appear in this match. Gleeble is not even listed on the roster. Richards is, but not expecting Brent to play. But Sam will be an interesting story to watch again this year. As you mentioned, he was a trialist, didn't play, but he was there training, and last year earned a roster spot and became a super important piece, especially on the offensive end. 5 goals and 4 assists, and he could be primed for an even bigger season this season as more opportunities, especially in the midfield, kind of emerge for this team, and it's one of the exciting deals. I mean, you kind of put that time in, and you get your opportunity, and we'll see what some of these guys that are given these opportunities now this year that maybe have been kind of putting that time in. It's going to be fun to watch for sure.
And Ian has such an eye for talent when it comes to that kind of stuff. You think about Chris Wehan coming in, USL Rookie of the Year season, played at New Mexico. I mean, Gleeble kind of reminds me a little bit of him in a way. He's just scrappy, great in the midfield, just loves to be on the ball, and is usually in the right place at the right time.
No doubt. San Diego got on the scoreboard in the 7th minute. It was a headed goal from Qudus Lawal, who scored 10 goals in 18 games last year with Fresno. One of the starting forwards here today for Landon Donovan, who are also without some of their key players today. They are not including Raul Mendiola, who was such a big midfield presence for Reno last year, one of the top assist men in the USL last year, and as well as Irvin Parra, a USL veteran that is expected to carry a big load as a forward for the team. He has also been held out today. So a few kind of key offensive guys not here today for San Diego that will definitely be big parts of their season.
Yeah, I was sad to see Mendiola go. He played for the Las Vegas Lights, came up here to Reno the year following, had a great season with Reno 1868, and a great locker room personality from what the guys were telling me last year. Just someone that people liked hanging around, good soccer player, and I'm curious to see how he does in San Diego. I'm sure he's enjoying the weather.
Yeah, no doubt. It's not going to be a tough sell to get players to want to go play for this franchise. There's no doubt about it.
No.
When you talk about the combination of playing in San Diego, playing for someone like Landon Donovan, and, new teams, they always want to kind of make their mark.
And you have to expect in the next 5 years or so that San Diego Loyal is going to be near the top of, the USL Western Conference, a team that a lot of players and veteran players are going to say, you know what, I see San Diego as that destination. I see, me potentially buying a house, raising a family, doing the whole 9 yards out in Southern California. And
no doubt.
I'm excited to see them grow.
About 22 minutes into this one, Reno 1868 and San Diego Loyal. Preseason friendly ahead of the start of the season, which will begin in a couple of weeks. See what Reno can do here. Out to Francois. Nice job on the ball, and a nice touch there that time from Haji. Trying to sneak it into the back corner and just wide, but good attempt there by Siad Haji after Cristiano Francois was able to really stay calm there on the ball, and that was impressive.
Oh, man, the touch on that was sinful is how I would describe it. That was, oh, my gosh. A couple inches to the right, and that would have been a goal, and that would have been really, really a nice way to start their preseason off, and they're only friendly.
Reno's looked a lot more comfortable here in the last 10 minutes than they did in the first 10. First 10 minutes really controlled by San Diego on the offensive end, and now it's kind of evened out. Both teams have kind of shared turns being on the attacking side. I think matches between these two franchises, as long as Landon Donovan and Ian Russell are at the helm, I think they'll continue to be maybe one of the more exciting matches as the season's kind of progressed, because these are two teams that want to push the pace. They want to score goals. They want to play fun soccer. These are not coaches that want to play a style of soccer to sit back and defend. They want to score. They want to play up tempo. And I think that's a really good thing to see.
I think Ian and Landon both understand each other's soccer minds, and it's interesting to see the chess match going on between both of them and how the formations are going to change, even going into this halftime and what will come out of it.
Shot on goal, and San Diego buries it again. A 2-0 lead for San Diego Loyal here on the road in Reno.
They came to play.
See the frustration there for Matt Bersano as that one went into the right side of the net. Take one more look here. Set it up in the middle and buried that time by San Diego's Eric Avila. So Avila in the 24th minute follows the goal by Lawal, and it is now 2-0 San Diego.
And this is not the start Reno was hoping for by any stretch, but it's still very early on. It's a 90-minute soccer game, and anything can happen. But San Diego Loyal, you got to tip your cap off to them. Just coming out 2 goals in the first half so far within the first 25 minutes even. I mean, they look really good offensively, and they are countering Reno's attack really well.
Avila, a San Diego native, one of the big veteran players on this roster. A lot of time in the MLS with Dallas and Toronto, as well as Chivas. Many years in the MLS, and over the last few seasons have played in the USL with the likes of Phoenix and Las Vegas, last year with Birmingham, and now returning home to Southern California to kind of be one of the key cogs in the midfield for Landon Donovan. The combination of him and Charlie Adams, these are two guys that have done a lot in the game of soccer, but Avila, I think, you talk about a guy that's really going to kind of be a key piece, especially as a local. That's exciting for Landon Donovan's side.
And that's big for the franchise in general. Who doesn't want to cheer for the local guy? I know Kevin Partita here from Sparks had a great year, went up to the San Jose Quakes, dealt with some injuries, but now back in the biggest little city,
Another chance here for San Diego. Get past Bersano. And a wasted opportunity that time by Moshe Bani, who got Bersano kind of twisted, but he could not get back on the ball in time to put a shot that was clean enough.
He was in there, though. I mean, what a move. Had some space. That was pretty lucky to get out of that without another goal for Reno.
So San Diego goals in the 7th minute and the 24-minute mark, as they have certainly come in here and been impressive in their first showing in USL action. They've had some other friendlies to prepare for this, but to get an opportunity here in a legit preseason friendly, Landon Donovan's got to be pleased with what he has seen so far from his side.
And on the other end of the coin, what is Ian Russell thinking right now? We have this new system that we're trying to implement, 2 goals I just think San Diego is pressing so well. They're creating so many different chances for themselves, and it shows by the score.
Man down right now for the Loyal. They'll send out the trainer as play will halt here for a moment. There's a look at Corey Hertzog. What an incredible career he has had in this league. 145 career USL appearances, the most of anybody on the Reno roster. He brings in 54 career goals, including his incredible season last year with 19. Hertzog's such an amazing story because he was a guy that was literally ready to call it a career. He had basically decided he was going to hang it up, and then right before the season last year, he got a call from Ian Russell, who wanted him to come out here to Reno, and what a kind of career resurgence that was for Hertzog.
He reminds me so much of Antoine Openo in a lot of ways. He filled Openo's void once he departed from the team, but yeah, Hertzog, great guy. His family's always at the games. He loves playing for Reno, 1868, and who wouldn't with the year that he had last year? 18 goals, just on fire down the stretch, and a big reason why Reno finished in second place overall in the USL Western Conference.
Back to Tony Alfaro, who sends it to goal, and Bersano. Alfaro, somebody with MLS experience, spent some time with Seattle in their 2016 MLS Cup season. Last year, he was playing in Mexico with Guadalajara. So he'll add some veteran presence at center back for Reno this year. There's Alfaro again, that time coming up to close on the ball and made a lot of contacts. And now he's going to get pulled for a yellow.
First card of the year. That looks pretty painful, though.
Came in there and got a lot of Moshabani. So now a set-piece opportunity and a good location here for San Diego as they try to extend their already 2-0 advantage.
Battleborn Brigade's got to be loving life right now.
Oh, man. Sun's out, guns out, baby. Not happy with the score, but I think just getting back out here, the sun, the breeze, soccer's back.
It's also good the game isn't, counting for anything, right?
Yeah, it's just out here, have some fun. It's a dry run for them, too. They got to get their chance ready to go, get dialed in. Upper deck, and that one is buried. What a shot and goal. And San Diego's on top 3-0.
Oh, my. What a strike. I mean, if you're Ian Russell, you go into the halftime locker room, what do you tell your guys?
I mean, that was perfect. How about that from Charlie Adams?
Yeah, that was phenomenal.
Adams last year with Orange County scored 10 goals. Also 3 years with Real Monarchs, who have been one of the top teams in the Western Conference, so he's used to playing for very competitive teams. 8 goals over his couple of seasons with Real. And an impressive left-footed curling strike there to give San Diego a dominant first half. 3-0 here on the road in Reno. You said it from the very beginning, though. This San Diego team, it's a very differently constructed roster than Reno's first season, but you can tell, like Reno was in their first season, this is a team that is already very well organized and has a lot of weapons, and they have showcased that here early.
There's chemistry. I mean, they've scored 3 goals because of that chemistry. And, you think about the last 3 years that Reno's had, 203 goals in the USL. That is the most in the entire league. And you look at a team like San Diego, and you got to help but wonder, where are these guys going to be in a couple of years? This attacking heavy, just on the ball, constantly going after you. There goes Corey.
Looks like he got kicked in the shin there. You can see that he got kind of a direct shot right there on his leg. Check this out. Oof.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt. But back to what I'm saying, San Diego has to be very impressed with themselves so far this year, and I think that they're gonna make a big splash in the USL once the season starts.
See what Reno can do here with a set piece opportunity. Here's Stoddy. Drives it with his left foot, and too much.
And that new netting coming into play now at Greater Nevada Field, saving someone's face.
It's really good to see the new netting installed primarily for baseball, as fan safety continues to be such a concern in the game. I think it's a good call. I mean, it doesn't bother me one bit.
No.
To have to look through that net. I think, man, gosh, Julian, how many times did we see last year somebody get hit by a ball?
It's horrifying.
Almost every night.
You're at a game, not even thinking, there's so many times I'm just hanging out with friends, sitting out there, and you kind of lose sight of the game, and then you realize, this is a dangerous sport. But I was actually walking the field earlier this week, and if you're on, down third base line, you can't really see the netting to first base. It's really interesting.
Very seamless.
How it's just kind of been put in there, and I think it's going to help in the long run. Less injury. I'm all for it.
Yeah. Goals by Lawal, Avila, and Adams here in the first half for San Diego in the 7th, 24th, and 30th minutes, respectively. As we move now into the final 10, 11 minutes here of this first half. We'll tangle up there. Contact between Reno's Alfaro and San Diego's Greenspan. And Reno will take possession now as Greenspan is a little bit nicked up. Joe Greenspan, one of the big center backs on this San Diego team. Another guy with MLS experience. 7 goals over 2 seasons with Pittsburgh the last 2 years. Big sturdy guy. We'll head back towards his defensive positioning as Reno now gets back into attack mode.
And you got to imagine they want a goal before the half just to boost morale and just to get back on the level of play. I mean, 3 goals down is one thing. You go into the locker room down 2, though. They could really make that up in 45 minutes.
Haji trying to time it up that time with Herzog, and well defended that time by San Diego. Good ball in by Haji, and Reno now with a corner kick as Ayrton Stoddy will head down towards the left corner.
And this was something I was saying earlier. Reno just has to start having a little bit more success at these. I think that they struggled with that last year.
Outside, and a right-footed wind-up shot from Francois goes wide. San Diego got a piece of that one. So another corner coming up after that blast from Francois. Back to Stoddy. Francois trying to center it that time and hits the side of the net. Now a corner from the other side. Caught a piece that time of Adams.
They got to be happy with that, though. 3 straight corners. They're knocking.
Stoneman got his head on it by San Diego, and then a whistle goes against Reno. So possession to the Loyal as they are able to fend off 3 consecutive corner attacks by Reno 1868. Another good job on the defensive end by the Loyal.
And they're keeping that clean sheet.
So a first half dominated by Landon Donovan. San Diego Loyal a 3-0 lead here in downtown Reno. Teams getting ready for the start of the regular season. Reno 1868, they'll begin on the road playing in Tacoma against the Defiance. That'll be a March 6 meeting at 7 o'clock. Then the home opener the following weekend, March the 14th, as Reno will play host to the OKC Energy. Pregame festivities will start at 6:15. We'll kick things off just after 6:30. As always, you'll catch every home game this year of Reno 1868 on Nevada Sports Net. Myself and Brian Slusser will be in on the action. You can also catch Julian Delgadio up here today down on the sidelines, getting your halftime and postgame interviews.
It's good to get the gang back together, you know?
It's a good time of year.
I mean, how do you beat this weather? Although, snow tomorrow. Can you believe
It's
it?
coming.
I would not see that on the horizon.
A very mild winter here in northern Nevada. Only about 2 inches of snow the entire month of February in the mountains, which is extremely low. We have not had really a meaningful snowstorm since January the 27th.
That's why it's called Miracle March, baby.
Indeed. Hoping for a miracle March. I'm not sure if we'll get quite the crazy marches we've seen in the past, but you never know. Got to start somewhere.
Any snow's good snow.
You'll know where you'll be finding me tomorrow.
I can only imagine. Squall?
Yep.
Squally would.
You know it.
There's our Shannon Kelly on the sidelines kicking the ball. Another member of the team.
Tune in tonight, News 4 at 5, News 4 at 11. Shannon Kelly will have highlights of this game and reaction from the players and head coach Ian Russell.
I'm curious how many of these players are actually in the starting 11 come season. You know, I think that this is...
Pretty good chunk. Maybe 75% at least.
Okay.
I think one X factor is the guys that are here from San Jose. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, a few guys that are injured right now that are not suiting up.
Yeah, Richards, that's a big one.
Kevin Partita wearing the captain's armband today. I imagine, though, when Richards is back, that will be his responsibility.
Yeah, he loves this team. He actually said a couple of days ago, it's been a blast the last 3 years, and he keeps coming back because it's been so fun, and they keep having good teams, and he's just excited for year 4 and hopefully to get another good one under his belt. But he proudly calls Reno home, and I don't see him leaving Reno anytime soon. I know Ian loves having him here. He's great in the locker room, great with the team. That's why he's earned that captain armband.
Yeah, it's good to have that veteran presence, especially on your back line. Him and Jane Jigian have played a lot together. And then we'll see how they kind of mix in Stoddy and Alfaro into that back line.
Can they get something going in the final 4 minutes?
Good momentum building that time by Reno before it gets cleared out by Sal Zizzo.
That's all you want to do in this moment. Keep pressing. Make them play defense. Keep them on their toes.
Fuentes able to get the ricochet, and another throw-in coming for Budati. Cleared that time by Metcalf. All the way back to Janjigian. Now it's Partita. Chance here. How about that? Reno's on the board. And who else? It's Corey Herzog to deliver here in the 43rd minute.
He's back. Nice rebound shot on goal there for Herzog.
Well, you kind of felt like that was going to happen eventually. Reno just kept building and building. And the first initial attempt by Apodaca deflected by Fennelson, but Herzog was there to easily find the back of the net, and it is now 3-1.
And you want that going into the locker room right now at halftime. Just getting a little bit of momentum going your way, some confidence.
That's the kind of momentum Reno wanted going into the locker room, just something to feel positive about. And now, we'll see what they can do to use that momentum here in the next 45-plus minutes to see what they can do to make this game interesting.
Really excited to see Corey Herzog play this year, though. I think that going into last season, Brian Brown was the guy. You didn't really think about Herzog, I think, until about halfway through the year when he just exploded onto the scene. Then you think about a player who left this offseason, Danny Mazovsky, who had another great outpouring in the final couple of weeks that really propelled Reno to that second-place spot in the USL West. But Herzog's going to be key on this one, and Foster Langsdorff, I don't know if we'll see him playing today, but another forward that I think Ian Russell is very excited about, and the rest of this team really has talked a lot about in the preseason.
Yeah, Langsdorff, a really talented kid, 21 goals over 2 seasons with Portland, a guy that won 3 consecutive national championships at Stanford and a 2-time Pac-12 Player of the Year. So he's kind of that next forward. Ian always has an ability to bring guys like that in and get a lot of success out of them. So we're excited, I think, to see, as Foster Langsdorff, the next in line of really talented goal-scoring forwards for this franchise.
And he's so young. I mean, the pedigree that he's coming from college, too, says so much. And, Ian has an eye for talent. And, yeah, like you said, it's really been just an onslaught of forwards here, all starting with Dane Kelly and what he did the first year. I know you and I were talking about this yesterday, just that year one team. You think about him, you think about Jimmy Ockford, you bring in Chris Weehan, Antoine Opino. I mean, the list just goes on, and it was
Matt
such
LaGrassa, who's now in the MLS with Nashville.
Yeah, he was great at Cal Poly too. I enjoyed seeing him play in college. He was the star on that team. But Reno has been very lucky to have so many great, talented players come through this.
You mentioned Mazovsky also getting signed to the MLS level, getting a job with LAFC. That was pretty neat to see just the development of Danny Mazovsky and that opportunity for him come up this offseason.
Oh, man, the last, I want to say, month and a half of the season last year, he was unstoppable. Some of the nastiest goals I've ever seen.
Another chance here for Reno. Can they get one more here before halftime? That time it was Apodaca, and ricochets into the corner for another Reno corner kick.
You got to imagine this is the last play of the half.
Janjigian goes to corral it. Back out to Francois. Haji crossing the field for Fuentes. Partita surveys. And there's the whistle for the end of the first half as the San Diego Loyal come here to downtown Reno. An impressive first half. And it's Landon Donovan's club with a 3-1 advantage here on the road. Goals by Lawal, Avila, and Adams. And then Corey Herzog in the waning minutes of the first half getting Reno on the board to make it a 2-goal deficit. We'll step aside, take a break here for halftime. We'll come back with second half action from Greater Nevada Fields. Back here inside Greater Nevada Field in downtown Reno, a preseason friendly Reno 1868 and the San Diego Loyal. Alongside Julian Delgadio, I'm Alex Margulies. Let's take a look at our first half highlights. San Diego jumping out to a 3-0 lead, and they would get things going early, Julian, in the 7th minute as Cudis Lawal was able to finish on the header.
Yeah, that was a really nice setup there, and they capitalized on it, and the first goal of the franchise.
Reno trying to get something going there as Cristiano Francois swinging it over, came just wide. Then in the 24th minute, it was Eric Avila with this right-footed strike.
And he just nailed that. Bersano just out of his reach.
How about that goal? And then right before half, 30th minute, is Adams, an incredible left-footed curling shot. Reno, though, was able to get on the board. First, Apodaca had his shot deflected, but it was Corey Herzog, the 19-goal man from a season ago, able to find the back of the net and get Reno on the board in the 43rd minute. So that's where we stand as we head into this second 45. San Diego, this expansion team, led by Landon Donovan, out to a 3-1 advantage here on the road in Reno. You did bring this up, though, early on. It's going to be interesting to see the fitness of San Diego and how altitude kind of plays a factor here in this second half. And I think this is a good opportunity for San Diego, knowing a lot of these West Coast cities. We talk about going to Albuquerque, you talk about going to Colorado Springs, you talk about going to Salt Lake. Playing at altitude is a factor in this league, and certainly that'll be something that they'll get an opportunity for here in this second half.
Yeah, and you got to think about just like the fact that San Diego hasn't, they haven't been in these types of situations before. How well do they fare, especially in their first game at altitude? Interesting to see. Also, Sam Gleeble, I think, is in the lineup for Reno 1868. I saw him in the huddle there for a second. Someone that I'm really excited to see play this year, and it's one of the adjustments Ian made at halftime. We'll see how that plays out for him. What do you think the message was at halftime, though?
Well, I think it's interesting because it's a preseason match, and this is a team still trying to figure out how to play with each other. I think offensively they did get quite a few chances there towards the end, and I think maybe just kind of build off of that. But, ultimately I think allowing 3 goals in the first half, they're going to have to just do a better job on defense, and it's an adjustment. And so I don't know if there's too much more than let's just keep playing and keep plugging away and learning how to play with each other, and let's just make this a better second 45 minutes. Ignore the score, and recognize this is a great opportunity to go out and just play and match up with what could be one of the better teams in the USL this year, a team that has certainly been put together with a talented roster here in their expansion season.
They look great so far too. I mean, 3 goals. They had a 3-0 lead for the first 35 minutes of this game, and you got to tip your cap off to Landon Donovan, what he's assembled here. And like we were saying earlier in the broadcast, I mean, this is a team that really looked a lot like Reno 1868 in the early years, shooting heavy, always attacking, and I think that's what Landon Donovan's trying to build in San Diego.
You mentioned, though, Sam Gleeble, number 23, there on the bottom of your screen, the 23-year-old from the UK. Appeared in 27 matches last year for Reno after serving as a trialist in 2018. Into the box that time, whistle blows, and is that going to be a penalty? Taken down in the box was Aiden Apodaca on a ball served in from Tony Alfaro, and he was tripped up in the box. And that is going to be a penalty here early in this second half.
And that's a huge swing for Reno, especially this early on, and you're trying to claw your way back into this one. Really a golden moment for Corey Herzog.
It'll be Herzog and Jake Fennelson in goal. Herzog and Fennelson, teammates in St. Louis a couple of years ago, back in 2018. Be a fun little interpersonal matchup here.
Yeah, I'm sure he's smiling for a reason on this one. And if you're 1868 fans, I mean, you got to be happy with seeing Corey.
And he bangs it home. Corey Herzog into the right corner. And just like that, it's a one-score game, 3-2. And Corey Herzog has 2 here in this preseason friendly.
And 2 unanswered for Reno. I mean, you score right before halftime. You score right when the second half starts. This feels like anybody's ball game at this point, despite the fact that San Diego has that 1-goal advantage. It's curious to see how well they play with some adversity now.
Reno once again putting things together on the offensive end. So they'll swing it over to Gleeble. Now it's Francois. Swing it to the other side, Janjigian. Nothing there. They'll look back towards the other side. Good patience here by Reno.
And great ball control, too. I think that they're just trying to establish this is the game that we're going to play, and we're going to make you play this with us and, you know, chase this ball down a little bit. Get a little more tired at this elevation. Now trying to advance the ball.
Good takeaway there in the midfields. I think Reno has done a much better job just controlling more of the tempo because in the very 10, even into the 20th minute, I feel like San Diego kind of controlled the pace. They controlled the ball. It was very difficult for Reno to get much of momentum, but really towards the end of that second half and for the entirety so far of this second half, there has been a much better continuity when it comes to just moving the ball around, hanging on to possession, and Reno just looking much, much more comfortable out there together.
Yeah, I think San Diego really came out swinging. You know, they had that early goal. They had their confidence up. They scored another 2. And then Reno settled down. You know, they really, like you said, they're trying to play their own pace. They get 2 goals at key times of this match so far. And, you know, it's still so early on for both of these teams, but I like what I'm seeing from 1868 more as the game has gone on. And for San Diego, you know, how they were playing at the beginning of the match looks drastically different from where they've started out in the second half. You know, Reno is just trying to play keep away and trying to, you know, advance the ball up and cut more into this lead. You score 2 straight goals. You got to feel like the momentum's entirely on their side at the moment.
Reno advancing again. Here in the 53rd minute. Into Herzog. Fuentes had it teed up, couldn't quite get a clean shot off on it as it scored it off his foot, and an easy save there for Fennelson.
They had 4 guys in the box there, though. Another great opportunity. Just bad positioning with Fuentes.
Fennelson, a 27-year-old, spent the last 2 years in St. Louis. Before that, he was with Orlando for 2 seasons with their USL franchise, Orlando City B. Also a San Diego native, born there. Went and played his college soccer at Akron, but now back home as part of this new upstart USL franchise. Nice job that time defensively. Tony Alfaro in the middle, able to stop that one at his center back spot.
That was big for the back 4, too. San Diego was pressing, and they just cleared that one out of there.
Chance here for the Loyal. Broken up.
That was great defensively, too. There was a 3-on-2 right there. Reno really stepping up.
Little space for Sam Gleeble now. Francois back to Gleeble.
Gleeble had a busy offseason, getting engaged. Nice to see him coming back.
Yeah, it seems like life going real well for Sam Gleeble. Chance to be a real kind of starring player on this team now, as one of the veteran players on this club.
Yeah, and Ian was saying it. He's slated to have a really big breakout year. Last year was fantastic too, though. 5 goals, 4 assists.
I was talking to Ian the other day, and he said in the 4 years that he's been here, there really is no development success story that is bigger than Sam Gleeble, a guy that, again, came in as a trialist, didn't play in 2018, got his way onto the roster last year and became such a critical piece of a team that won a franchise record 18 games. And he said even his jump from last year to this year has been remarkable. The way that he has attacked the offseason, the practicing, and has just continued to improve his craft. He is extremely excited with just the way that Sam Gleeble has continued to develop, and it's become one of the big success stories of this franchise here in the first 4 years.
And that's got to be comforting to a lot of the other trialists, hoping to land a spot on Reno 1868. I think that's one of the beauties of the USL and for soccer here in Northern Nevada, that, there are walk-on tryouts to make this roster and to play with these guys. And I know they're always looking for bodies just to practice against, but for someone like that to break through and have an impact, that's huge. And I think that's the goal of a league like this, where development is everything. And you got to tip your cap off to Ian for scouting that talent where others, kind of wrote him off in a sense.
'57th minute here in downtown Reno, alongside Julian Delgadio. I'm Alex Margulies. Preseason friendly, Reno 1868 and San Diego Loyal. Reno starts their season March 6th on the road in Tacoma, then their first home match on the 14th of March against OKC Energy. Also a home match on March 28th against the Portland Timbers 2.
Year number 4. Playoff appearances in all 3 years for Reno 1868. It's kind of awesome, to see just the fan base walking around Reno and just seeing how much it has grown over the last couple of years. I know, talking to their general manager, Doug Raftery, he's excited about it. He loves seeing, the outreach that this soccer team has, and they're still growing.
Nice job clearing it out. Janjigian.
That's a good win there. Almost had it. Kevin Partita really active right now in the midfield.
I'd say he's juiced up for this one.
Well, and he's such a key piece. When this guy is going and can control the midfield and win big balls, and it makes such a difference for this team. In my opinion, I think that position in the midfield for Reno is one of the most important. That kind of holding midfielder spot that was held by Matt LaGrassa in the first season, Partita for parts of the last two. When that position is dominant by Reno, they have a lot of success.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about just the ball control and the possession that comes with someone who plays that position and owns it and has the skill level that those two brought to the table. I know LaGrassa was definitely a perfect example of that, and Partita is stepping in. And what a great story, too, locally. You know, kid who grew up less than 15 minutes from this ballpark, never imagined a soccer team being here, and here he is, one of the centerpieces of the club.
Another chance here for Reno. Francois has his shot knocked away. Again, though, I really like the way Reno has just controlled this entire second half.
Yeah, that was a good feed by Fuentes, too. Francois had a good look, but just body in his face right there, and they earned the corner kick.
Ayrton Stoddy in the corner. You're in the 60th minute. Stoddy's ball right there. It'll sneak past, got through a big wall of both blue and orange. And San Diego escapes, and they will hold on to the lead, still 3-2. Reno, 2 consecutive goals in the 43rd and 49th minutes by Corey Herzog, the latter on a penalty kick. San Diego got 3 goals early, their most recent in the 30th by Charlie Adams. Reno's defense, though, has been good. Not allowed a goal in the second 30, as now Reno will go to another substitution. And our first look at Tucker Bone as he comes in now for Gilbert Fuentes. Bone, a 24-year-old from Tacoma, Washington, last year was a mainstay with Colorado Springs, and somebody that Ian describes as having a real toughness and blue-collar kind of mentality, and no surprise considering where he came from his college days of playing for the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Yeah, 20th pick overall, and this is another piece that Ian added in the offseason.
Bersano able to knock that one away from Avila after he got some space.
That was big. They had a golden opportunity there. But yeah, Tucker Bone, someone else that I think a lot of Reno fans don't know too much about, but a certain piece that, you know, Chris Malineb and Ian Russell excited to bring onto this roster and see what he could do with this team.
You know, overall, talking to Ian yesterday, he feels like this team has a real toughness and a real blue-collar kind of mentality about them. And it's kind of shown in this match. I mean, they could have easily folded down 3-0, but they have certainly fought to make this a contest.
Yeah, they're not going to go down without a fight in any match. And, you know, it seems like they've been knocking on the door to complete that potential comeback, but San Diego Loyal's defense is stepping up as the half has gone on.
Now into the 62nd minute. Matt Bersano. The flow's coming back. The hair, look at that.
Yeah,
we're going back to the man bun soon.
I think he might be.
He's getting. I think we're getting close to man bun season.
I'm more curious. Are you going to go back to the man bun at any time?
I've never had a man bun.
I could see you with one.
I'd go man bun if I wasn't on TV. I'd flow it.
You gotta have like a Fabio thing going on.
I can get a flow going. I got some nice hair.
Yeah. You know what?
It gets pretty curly,
I think you should
though.
try it. I think you should really try it. I'll support it.
I can't really get through that awkward phase, though. You know the awkward phase?
You know, I feel the same way when I'm growing a mustache. There's a good week and a half, 2 weeks there.
Yeah, the hair awkward phase is like 2 months, though.
Oh, man, it's brutal, though. You look in the mirror and you're like, who is this person? What am I doing with my life? But, you know, I support you growing out the hair and going full man bun.
Thank you. That first year we had Bersano with the hair. We had Opano had the hair going.
It was weird when he cut it.
Both of them when they cut it.
Yeah, it was unexpected.
I know they both. It was kind of a charitable deal that they did, donating their hair, and it was really for a good cause, and that was really neat to see.
I didn't think I would have an emotional attachment to either of their hair, but when that
It
happened,
was
we was
kinda sad,
interviewing, I was like,
right?
hey,
Yeah.
what's going on, guys? You all right?
There's a look on the San Diego sideline. Landon Donovan.
How badly do you think he wants to throw a kit on and run out there and play a little bit more? One of the all-time greats, man.
Really cool to see him part of the USL now. I mean, you're talking about the greatest U.S. men's soccer player ever.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of them.
I mean, between what he did in international play, what he did at the MLS level, he went over and played in both Germany and in England. I mean, his resume is about as good as you're going to find in the game.
Yeah, winning 2 MLS Cups with Ian Russell. And, I mean, speaking personally at the matter, I remember growing up watching soccer, and it was Landon Donovan. He was the guy. He was the captain. He was the star of the show. It was awesome when he was playing on the LA Galaxy. I grew up in Los Angeles and seeing, what that team was able to do, especially when they signed David Beckham. But, he has had a storied career in this industry, and, there's a lot that's still unwritten with Landon Donovan, and I think a lot of us are excited to see what this next chapter will bring as a coach.
Dangerous spot here and headed above net. Our graphics went down, but those of you watching at home into the 65th minute now. Still 3-2, an advantage for San Diego. They've held since minute 7 when Qudis Lawal was able to head one into the back of the net. Then a 24th minute goal from Eric Avila. And finally, in the 30th on a set piece, it was Charlie Adams who made it 3-0. Then consecutive goals by Reno, Corey Herzog in the 43rd minute, and a penalty kick goal from Herzog in the 49th minute.
And here we are.
Here we are now, 66, with a 3-2 score.
Tell you what, if I'm a San Diego Loyal fan, I'm really happy with what I've seen so far offensively. This team seems really hungry already with great chemistry. They jump out to that 3-goal lead, and you have to imagine that they're going to be like a fine wine this year, only getting better as time goes on.
Reno trying to put something together here. Keep it alive. Francois.
Just got away from him.
Out to Moshe Bani, who will take it out towards midfield. Nice job there by Reno. Good temporary win there in the midfield by Partita, but San Diego getting possession back in an important spot in the fields. Good pressure that time by Gleeble, and Reno will take it back.
Yeah, I think Reno's just trying to press right now.
What can they do here? Shot and knocked down. Tucker Bone squared up against Fennelson and drilled it right at him.
I like seeing that from Tucker Bone, too, early on. Just confident. In a great position right there. Got a great look. Just needed a little bit more power, a little more arch on that one. But that could have been the equalizer.
Had a goal last year with Colorado Springs, did Tucker Bone.
Like we were saying earlier, they're just going back to ball possession. We're going to control. We're going to move up when we can, when we see some space, and put our guys in a position to where they could potentially score a goal.
Headed out of trouble by San Diego. Gleeble coming up to race it down, finds Francois. And Francois earns Reno a corner kick.
I like how active Francois has been in this match. He seems to always find his way to the ball. He's in good opportunities, always inside of the box. He's had a couple corner kicks. I know he was someone that this organization was really excited about when they signed him.
14 goals in his career, Francois, 16 assists, playing with Ottawa, playing with Rochester, playing with Pittsburgh. Reno can't make the most of that one, and we'll go back to a San Diego possession now in the 69th minute. And heading for the throw-in will be Sal Zizzo.
Sal starting in front of Emmerich Clemente, who's a former 1868 player. Also, Sac Republic player, guy who won a championship with them. Someone I think some fans were sad to see go. Really a veteran presence in the locker room. Had a great year with Reno last year, but I'm sure he's going to fit in quite nicely with San Diego.
Here comes an attacking wave, and can't quite put it together. They were trying to slot it in there for Avila, and just out of his reach as it goes all the way back to Matt Persano. Some space for Francois.
Oh.
Gleeble couldn't quite get to that one. Now it goes to the right side.
Just out of reach on that header.
Gleeble. And earns a corner as that one was headed by Joe Greenspan. He is not happy with his defense as San Diego is looking a little disoriented right now on the defensive side.
And you got to think, with the amount that Reno has had corner kicks in this game, one of them is going to crack through. I mean, just by the numbers.
Play it back this time to Gleeble. He'll serve it in. Headed and wide as that one went to Foster Langsdorff. So Reno getting a chance to break in some new faces. Langsdorff into the second half. Tucker Bone into the second half. Those were two of the main free agent acquisitions in the offseason. We talked about Langsdorff in that first half, a guy that was a record-setting goal scorer at Stanford, set a Pac-12 career record with 37 over his time with the Cardinal, and a very productive player with the Portland Timbers 2, which included a club record 14 goals scored back in 2018.
And Foster's someone I'm really excited to get to know and interview. You know, just talking to the players at Media Day, I was asking them, who's the strangest guy on the team? You know, who's the guy that just stands out that you kind of look at and you're like, what is this guy doing? And there wasn't a single player that didn't say Foster Langsdorff. And I asked them, well, you know, what's weird about him? And they're like, you just got to meet him. You just got to meet the guy. There was like a no way of describing it all, but definitely one of the characters on this team, and it should be interesting to see how he does in his first year here in Reno.
72nd minute, still 3-2 San Diego. They've held the lead since minute 7. Reno got within one goal back in the 49th minute. They've held possession for the majority of this second half, but San Diego, as they showed in the first half, they can be dangerous.
They're not pressing as much as they were in the early goings of this game. I don't know if that does play into the fatigue of playing at this elevation, or if that is just, you know, we have the lead, let's drop back and, you know, trust our defense.
Reno doing a good job on their defensive end, although that one slips through.
What a move.
Good slide there to save some trouble there, Alfaro.
Yeah, that was just out of reach, but in a game where they've had a couple really nice goals, that could have potentially been an all-timer.
San Diego focusing a little bit more and trying to hold possession. Reno finally able to take it in the midfields, and even though there was some contact on Herzog, they won't blow the whistle. Now San Diego getting back behind Reno's defense, and that one is good into the corner. A left-footed goal for Francis Atuahene.
And that was huge. 2-on-1, and he just strikes that one just out of reach for Bersano, too. And that just goes to show how impressive this team can be offensively, even without a couple of guys there. Just that one pass, he made a little move to the left, buried it in the left side of the net, and back to a 2-goal lead.
I think when you look at the tape later, though, Ian Russell is going to want a better effort there from Alfaro and from Gleeble. Mm-hmm. Two guys that were really right there in front of Atuahene and did very little to make him feel uncomfortable. They gave him way too much space to get a good shot off, and an impressive strike it was to give San Diego back a 2-goal advantage. So the first goal for the Loyal since all the way back in the 30th minute, a drought of about 45. Well done, though.
Yeah, they might have iced this one.
They were patient and took advantage on an opportunity to catch Reno's defense sleeping.
Yeah, great counter.
One of the Reno trialists into the game, Alex Burkholz, number 4. You can see him on the bottom part of your screen. He has checked in Reno's back 4. You can see him chasing now. And Burkholz will send it back to Bersano in net. Final 15 minutes of regulation. Reno's got some work to do. Burkholz, one of 6 trialists listed on Reno's roster in this friendly, joining goalkeepers Sebastian Mora and Andrew Constantino, midfielder Jared Timmer, forward Tyler Allen, and Giannis Budati, who started the game at outside back in replacement of Brent Richards.
And Burkholz has USL experience playing with the Tacoma Defiance. He actually went to college in San Diego, played for the Aztecs from 2015 to 2018.
Tucker Bone gets another shot on goal, this time deflected by San Diego's defense, as Edwin Lara, who is now into the game, able to deflect that one. Or excuse me, that was Greenspan. The center back got his foot to send that one away. '77th minute, it's Cristiano Francois. Good ball there. Burkholz trying to get his head on it, but Fennelson leaping up and snatching that one out of the air. Outside to Lara. Working on Francois. Lara gets the edge. San Diego holds possession. Going to the opposite side now.
You got to imagine at this point it's a game of keep away with a 2-goal lead. Late in the game, I'm sure they'd be happy to fly back to San Diego tonight with their first win under their belt.
Still 13 minutes to go for Reno to have something to say about that. Some contact there in the midfields, and it'll go against Reno 1868.
And they're not happy about that one at all. Alfaro felt like that was a clean takeaway. The refs disagreed. Hey, he looks familiar. Amber Clementa back on the pitch.
19 appearances last year with Reno for Clementa, who joined the team midway through this season. 123 career appearances in the USL, one of the most experienced defensive players in the circuit. He was basically Mr. Sacramento there for a few years, one of the key pieces of their team. You mentioned he was part of their USL championship team in their inaugural season back in 2014. He eventually got some time in the MLS with the LA Galaxy in 2018. And last year, part of Reno's second place finish. Here's Clementa wearing number 23.
Yeah, he
See
was
him there
great.
right in the middle of your screen.
Played 2 games with the Galaxy. Was on Sac Republic from 2014 to 2018. He really nailed that too. He's a king in Sacramento from how much time he spent there and how memorable those teams were out in the 916. One of the rare players too that have been on both teams for this Donner Pass Derby rivalry that has been brewing up here for the last couple of years. Sac Republic, great fan base, always makes the trip out. Always feels like a playoff matchup when those two teams collide.
First match between those two sides this year will take place later in the year at home, but the first one will be in Sacramento early March 25th. Sacramento won't come to Reno until the very, very end of the season. In fact, the final home game of the regular season, October 10th, here at Greater Nevada Field, will be the first and only time the Republic makes the trip up.
Where does that game lie on the juice rankings for this season?
Could be pretty high. Could be pretty high. Two teams that have been consistent playoff appearers. Reno finishing no worse than 5th in their franchise history. A 3rd-place finish in year 1 with 59 points. Same tally the following year, 59 points, but that put them in 5th. And then last year, they were able to surge up to 2nd with an 18-win season.
Most points, too. I mean, they really hit a stride last year that was pretty remarkable. And you got to just tip your cap off to Ian Russell, and these guys that really stepped up. I think there were a lot of question marks. That first year's team was so good, and it keeps getting better as the years have gone on and who he's brought in to play for this soccer club.
Throw-in will go to Burkholz, who checked in for Thomas Janjigian about 10 minutes ago. '82nd minute, 4-2, San Diego leading. Here's Gleeble.
Nice pass.
Another good defensive effort from San Diego. Look how tightly organized they are right there. They have been tough when they get together and they're able to kind of get in the formation they want. They've been tough to break through.
Yeah, and on the other end, Reno's had so many of these corner kicks and set pieces through corner kicks. I just want to see them capitalize on that some more. I know it's still the preseason. It's still very early. But I think that's something that they've really struggled with the past couple of years.
Burkholz got a decent shot off with his left foot. Fennelson, though, comes up with another save, trying to get it in there in that upper corner.
Gotta like seeing that, though. The confidence in him sending one. Good touch on it. Just 23 years old, too. Another one of the younger guys on this roster. I want to see Reno pick up the pace, and they're doing that.
Francois able to beat through the defense.
There's nobody there. Earns a throw in, though.
Gleeble's on that. Good poke there from Herzog. Sets it up. Not enough mustard on that one, though.
No, I needed a little bit more. The idea was there, though. Great ball movement. He was wide open, approached the ball well. Just needed that oomph.
Into the 86th minute now. Reno still trailing 4-2. 3 goals in the first half, 1 in the second for the Loyal, and 1868, a goal apiece over a 6-minute period. 43rd minute by Herzog, then a penalty kick by Herzog in the 49th. Get it into Herzog and trying to save it all across that end line and couldn't quite get to it. Not a bad idea there, though, from Gleeble, trying to give him kind of some short space there in front of net.
Yeah, they just ran out of real estate, but that was a really nice lead pass. Corey just didn't have enough to swing his body and set himself up, but they're still pressing. I want to go back to the goalies, though. You think about JT Marcinkowski in this one, Matt Bersano. Like, who would you project to be the starter first game of the year?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think it could be either.
Yeah, they're both.
We've seen both of them spend a lot of time. Marcinkowski is up with the Earthquakes for their match here today. Some other names that 1868 fans may recognize from their time here. Kate Cowell, the young, then 15-year-old who suited up last year. He's on the bench for San Jose. And into the starting lineup, Jackson Yule, who started his professional career here with Reno 1868 after being drafted by UCLA a couple of seasons ago. Jackson came to Reno to cut his teeth a little bit.
Cowell's going to have a very bright future ahead of him, though. He's so young. He does not look lost out there anytime he's been in the 11 for the Azules. And, you know, just another year under his belt here at this level, I think is going to be very beneficial for him. And I know that the San Jose Quakes organization is very excited to have a player like that and just develop him because he's got a lot of time left to hone his skill.
Herzog's throw-in needs to be headed out of the way. Also, Tommy Thompson, who we've seen play with Reno 1868 on a handful of occasions, also in that lineup as the Earthquakes take on Toronto.
I think Herzog trying to get a call there. And another corner.
That match between San Jose and Toronto will kick off at 2:30. Home opener. And what is expected to be the final season for one of the greatest American soccer stars and strikers in Chris Wondolowski.
And what a career. One of the all-time greats.
Now 37 years old. '89th minute, still 4-2, San Diego. 159 goals for Wondolowski in the MLS. Only player in league history to score more than 150. Only player to score at least 10 goals in 10 consecutive seasons. A guy that will go down as an absolute legend. And it'll be a fun kind of farewell tour this year for Wondo.
And you got to think, the Mount Rushmore of some of the greatest who have ever played the game of soccer in the United States, he's up there with Landon Donovan.
No doubt.
Easily a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Maybe not the international kind of impact that Landon had, but when you talk about the MLS, no one is a better goal scorer than that guy.
Yeah, they will definitely be retiring his jersey.
Now into the 90th minute, we'll see what kind of stoppage time gets added here in this preseason friendly. Reno still fighting at it. Here's Francois.
Another corner.
From the corner and defended that time by San Diego. Just got word 3 minutes of stoppage time added here in this meeting between Reno and San Diego. As the Loyal try and finish off an impressive showing here in their first USL meeting with Reno 1868. A couple teams that will see each other twice during the regular season. First on the road down in San Diego. That game will take place in the month of June 27. And they'll come back here to play in Reno in the fall, September the 19th. These two will face off in a regular season match here at Greater Nevada Field.
I'm excited for what they look like in September versus now, San Diego, very lethal offensively with those 3 goals in the first half. And then that dagger coming in the second. I like what we saw from Reno, near the midpoint of this game and coming out of the locker room, but
definitely some good stuff to build off of.
Yeah.
I think some good kind of correctable situations.
And we saw a lot of faces in this.
Yep.
For both sides. Still trying to figure out, what that final starting 11 will look like. I think that type of stuff will go into the early part of the season as well.
Another good job defensively by the Loyal. Carlos Alvarez broke it up that time. Gleeble trying to find some space. Looks like he might have gotten kind of poked in the eye there. He's grabbing his face, and he's still not moving. Not a fun way to finish the day for Sam Gleeble.
Yeah, he's still wiping his eye.
And there's the final whistle. San Diego Loyal in their first appearance to Northern Nevada, come away with a 4-2 win here in this preseason friendly. And that is how the 2020 soccer season begins here in Northern Nevada. San Diego, 3 goals in the first half, 1 in the second, and Reno with their pair of goals by Corey Herzog is how they will finish up here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the highlights, look back at the action in this one. Reno made things interesting after that Herzog goal in the 43rd minute. We would come back out in the second half, 49th minute, and a perfectly executed penalty kick. Corey Herzog picking up right where he left off last year, somebody who scored 19 goals.
Yeah, and 2 in this one were pretty huge. And, Reno really carried a lot of momentum after both of those goals. It just seemed to fizzle out. San Diego's defense really stepped up and, shut them out and took away any hope of them making any type of a comeback.
Tucker Bone had a good chance in the second half, couldn't convert, and then a goal there by Francis Atua-Henny in the 74th minute. You mentioned that was just kind of the dagger, and that would be enough as the Loyal come here to Reno and win it 4-2. Once again, the USL regular season opener, that will take place on March 6th, coming up just next week, next Friday in Tacoma, a 7 o'clock kickoff. Check out the action at uslsoccer.com. Check it out on ESPN+. And, of course, all season long, our Reno 1868 home matches back on Nevada Sports Net. Our first telecast, March the 14th, a 6:15 start for festivities, a kickoff just after 6:30 as Reno 1868 welcomes the OKC Energy FC. Head to Reno1868.com. Check out ticket information. Hope you can join us for some matches here in downtown Reno this season. I want to thank my broadcast partner, Julian Delgadio. Check him out on the sidelines this year, getting your halftime interviews and post-game interviews with the players. For our entire production crew, saying so long here from downtown Reno, I'm Alex Margulies. Our final score today here in the preseason friendly, San Diego, led by Landon Donovan, a 4-2 final. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.